Welcome to the Just Barbarian Things podcast actual play of Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition's Masks of Nyarlathotep. Hello, barbarians, and welcome to our actual play of Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. I am Rainy, your keeper, and today I have with me, as always, Santiago playing Q,
Howdy.
Rich playing Stephen,
Oh, yeah.
Jesse playing Isaac,
Yeah.
people's names, and Jessica playing Sister Mary Benedict.
Hello!
Haha! It's been a while, so I have to see if I can remember everybody's names. That's like part of it. I guess I should have checked my notes.
How many of our
They're right
listeners dated themselves once you're like, it's been a while, and they're driving to work going, it's been a while!
That's true.
Like, ha, you old.
That's what I do.
Hey, people aren't no old just because they know that song.
Fair? All right,
Yeah,
no,
that's
they
cool.
are.
Okay.
That's pretty.
We'll call that the
I
Jessica
know how old
defense.
you are. So.
Or they're catching up on the backlog, and it's like, what do you mean? It's like 30 seconds later.
Yeah, right. Like, I just listened to episode 2. So it's fine. All right. So last time, after meeting with Augustus Larkin, you had a night at your hotel, and then the next day went with Jackson Elias. Not actually named Jesse, although he should probably remind you to call him that in front of Larkin so that he doesn't get caught. And you went with him to visit a contact that he had at the Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology in Lima. There, you were waiting for his assistant, one Senorita Rizzo, to return from storage with translation and an artifact that they believe to be relevant to the pyramid that you were looking for. And when it took a while for her to arrive, y'all decided to go check on her for various reasons. Some of you genuinely concerned, others bored, and yet others of you just hoping for a chance to secure artifacts in a safe and appropriate manner. When you went down into the storeroom area, you found her being attacked by some creature with a horrible garbage disposal face, who you recognized vaguely as being Mendoza, the kind of right-hand man of Augustus Larkin. You were able to subdue him, tie him up, and hand him off to the police. Basically, it appeared at the time that he was no longer living at that point from the beating that he had taken, and you kind of split up to do various things. One of you went to the library to get a little bit more information.
That's me.
And then went to the police station to check on the body after the autopsy. One of you went back to your abode to do some divining with
Drugs.
Some objects of interest that Mendoza had. You were also able to secure Isaac an artifact from the storage room.
Mm-hmm.
And then our two muscly boys, our punchmans, went to confront Larkin and make him aware of the fact that Mendoza had basically been killed and then submitted to police because he had attacked a woman at the university. And he seemed concerned and wanting to move up the timetable for leaving based on what you said. When you told him what exactly you saw, because Q, you actually told him that you saw him biting with his crazy monster mouth, then he kind of looked at you like you were crazy and shut the door, but did let you know trucks would be there at 8 a.m. the next morning so that you guys could get out of here before anything else tried to disrupt the mission to get to the pyramid.
And wasn't he all like beat up and sweaty or something?
Yeah,
like
he
that?
was not looking well. He was sweaty. He had discolored vessels. They did recognize a bottle of heroin in his room on the bedside table. Heroin is how it was labeled, and that's something Steven saw. So, you guys can decide how you share that information. But right now, where we ended with, Q and Steven know that expedition is set to be on the road via truck tomorrow at 8 a.m. to try to avoid whatever it is that Mendoza was obviously planning to do to sabotage this expedition. And then the main thing that we left off with was Sister Mary Benedict. You were arriving at the police station to observe last rites for the corpse, and what you saw were people huddling and crying and talking about demons and devils over the corpse of a very desiccated priest laying in front of the police station. So that's where we're going to get back into it. Anyone have anything they want to do? You all are in 3 different places right now. So the 2 of you were at the Hotel España, which is about 10 minutes from the hotel that everyone shares. And you went to Larkin's room specifically. Jesse, Isaac is back at the hotel. So you're at your hotel and then the Hotel Mori. And then, of course, Jessica, you're in town at the police station.
Did I? Because I was doing research at the library, right?
Yeah, you were researching at the university library before you went to the police station.
Did I find anything about how to kill? Because I remember the fat-sucking vampires thing.
You-
Did I find anything about...
Nothing
That's-
specifically about how to kill them. You did get some extra information, journals from a priest named Padre Santiago,
Right.
but you have not translated them yet.
That's what I thought. Shit.
Yeah, and he was the priest who cared for the sickly conquistador
Right.
who returned.
Yes. How unhelpful of me to not have translated those yet.
Well, I mean, it was just a few minutes ago, so I think it's okay.
I would like to increase my skill in speed reading.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind
Yeah.
for leveling phase.
Did it dawn on us yet that maybe the supernatural creature is capable of reviving itself after seemingly being in death? Like, that didn't occur to us yet.
No, none of you noticed any wound healing or anything during the fight, and of course, 3 of you are not in a location where you could infer that information.
Yeah.
And no cell phones. So, unless you're sending a small brown boy to deliver messages, you don't really have a way to communicate that with each other until you meet up.
Okay.
So as far as the 3 of you are concerned, not Sister Mary Benedict, he's dead and has been handed over to the police. Whatever he was.
So we went back to gear up because there's monsters afoot.
So yeah, you geared up, went to Hotel España to talk to Larkin, and that's where you were. He had to close the door after letting you know he was going to arrange for the trucks to arrive tomorrow morning.
So given that he didn't give us any further instruction, I think that I would suggest that we go back out into those streets and see if there's any further sign of trouble, because if there's more than one of these things, it could be very dangerous.
I think our idea was to have someone stand watch.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's to get some rest for the morning and trade watch shifts. Okay.
Yeah, because you were a little suspicious of Larkin's response.
So were we gonna like watch his door or something like that? Or were we just gonna go
Yeah, I mean, you could do it
post up somewhere?
old style and just kind of put the chair outside the door. Sit down.
Yeah. You stay awake.
This
Wake
is
me up
fun.
in 2 hours or whatever. All right. Yeah, I forgot that we'd formulated that plan.
If you
No,
want to
it
go do
has
some
been a while.
scouting.
People who are listening just to all the episodes at once will be like, don't you remember? None of us remember. It was weeks ago.
It's been a busy month.
We're old people. We don't know what's happening.
All right.
So he's in the Hotel España,
Yes,
and we're in the Hotel
Maury.
Mori.
Yep. So that's where your rooms are right now. Stephen and Q are at España outside of Larkin's room. You will recall that is where he said he and Mendoza were staying. Their rooms were there. And then the expedition's rooms were at the other hotel.
And as far as we know, they never mentioned that they were staying in the same room.
No. And that would be odd at the time for them to be sharing a room, especially with someone well-to-do, like Larkin seems to be.
And we positively identified it was Mendoza.
Yes, because his face went back to normal after he was knocked TF out.
And have I finished my clairvoyant or
You
my
did.
divination?
You finished having your visions.
It's time to go loot. So I'd like to go find. I will head to. Isaac will go to their hotel.
Okay. So, much like the others, it only takes about 10 minutes to get there from Hotel Mori. It's a much smaller building than Hotel Mori, so it does make sense that he would put the larger group of the expedition at your hotel, because this is, I mean, there's maybe a dozen rooms total. It's only 2 floors. It's very basic. There's no restaurant. There's no front desk. It's very basic. Very nice, very colorful and kind of kitschy, but not huge. And you see the same beshawled old lady downstairs who looks up at you and asks, I mean, you speak enough Spanish to know. She asks how she can help you.
Looking for a friend of mine. I've already forgotten his name. Mendoza.
No.
Yeah.
And
He's
she's
the
like,
assistant of Larkin.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, see you con Larkin. And then she gives you a room number that's upstairs and says to you, since you understand the language, that your friends are upstairs as well, visiting with
Okay.
Larkin. So
Thank you. And yeah, head on up.
she goes back to whatever little old lady stuff she's doing in her little rocking chair. It's painted lovely colors.
Is she knitting?
You sure?
What's
Yeah.
she knitting?
Why don't you make a knitting roll? I know you have it. I know that's your art and craft.
Oh
It
no.
is.
And I'll give you a bonus die because it's
Ooh.
nothing weird.
90.
On your
So
bonus
sad.
die even?
Well, it was either 100 or
Oh.
a 90.
Yeah. She's very early in the project, so it's difficult
tell
to
you.
tell what it's going to become. And her gnarled hands work slowly as well, so hard to pick up what stitch she's working on. But as you head up the stairs, you do see a door has been moved in front of the door opposite the one that she told you about for Mendoza. And you see Hugh and Stephen, one of them probably leaning, half sleeping, the other one keeping an eye on things.
So right now, is it still Saturday night?
Yeah, it's still a Saturday night. I mean, getting close to... It's still, yeah, I mean, it's not quite even close to midnight or anything. It's just late in the evening at this point. Right.
Please try the door for Mendoza's.
It is locked.
Look over at these 2 beefy companions.
Yeah, no one ever here has any lock pickery that you want to deal with, any locksmithing.
I mean,
I do.
I guess you have 1%. This is Mendoza's room.
the door opposite.
Yeah, it's the one across the hall from Larkin's room.
Oh. Well, hell. And with that, I'll try to boot the door open.
Okay.
Subtle.
I am going to have you roll just to see how noticeable this booting is.
Especially because I'm not trying at all to be subtle about it.
Okay.
So,
If you're really not trying at all, just roll for her listen then.
okay.
So
Roll for what?
I'll roll for her listen.
Her
if you-
listen.
Yeah,
The lady
downstairs.
Oh,
The proprietor.
whatever.
You might have a few minutes. It'll take her a while to get up the stairs.
Ayuda, policía. Yeah, call the cops. Thanks. It's actually helpful. We're the good guys, right?
You're always the good guys.
Everyone thinks they're the good guy. Everyone's the hero of their story.
So you boot the door open. I'm not going to make you roll for it because you're not. It's not a matter of if you can do it or not. You can. It was just a matter of if she heard you. But since you're not trying to be quiet, you don't have to roll.
Oh, okay.
If you were trying to be very precise so you could do it in a way that wasn't as loud, cool.
Just trying to get it open as
Yeah. No,
quickly as possible.
it's a decent hotel, but it's not like what we would think of hotel doors nowadays. It's just like a door in a house, that has a number painted on it. And you just kick it open because it's like a bathroom lock, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It
Always
that-
trips me out.
If you want that realistic feel,
There you
there's
go.
the door right there.
Wait for Jesse to go to the bathroom, just kidding.
No, it always trips me out in like TV shows and movies and shit. Like, some character like get in there, and then like they lock him in a bathroom or something, and they're just like no, and they chicka 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 on the doorknob. I'm like, bitch, please, that door is like literally cardboard. Like just
And it's
fucking
hollow.
like-
Yeah.
yeah, it's like two
No, these
pieces of
are
like you can just
Actual
like,
wood doors, because it's long enough ago that would have been a thing, but they're not heavy wood doors. And so you kick the simple lock mechanism out of the frame, basically. Like, you ruin a lock. But
smack.
yeah, it swings open quite violently. But you don't hear anything from downstairs. Seems the little old lady is... Her hearing's not great, maybe. And so you can see, especially for the two of you who've seen Larkin's room, Mendoza's room looks like no one has been staying there. The bed is made, everything's very neat and clean. You don't see a lot of obvious signs of personal effects in the room. But you may certainly look around
Yeah, buddy.
if you'd like to.
Gonna look around.
All right. So you do have a couple of options. You can talk to me about where you're looking, and if you happen to look in places that have things of interest, I will tell you about them. Otherwise, if you want to make a roll to like generally search the room, you can do that too. It would be a spot hidden unless you have a different skill you'd like to use. Up to you. I'm good either way.
I'm gonna start with spot hidden to look for anything out of the
Yes.
ordinary,
Sure.
and then if I spot anything, I'll investigate further.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go with spot hidden. Gotta have that spot hidden, boys. All right, that is a Plano success from Plano, Texas.
Okay. So you note the room, like I said, incredibly neat. Almost antiseptically neat. Like, no changes of clothes visible, no personal effects, no suitcase. The bed is like hospital corners, like super neatly made. So nothing obvious from just looking into the room.
All right, gonna have to start searching more in a more targeted fashion, then, right? Yeah.
Or other people can make rolls and see if they did better than your regular ass success. But yeah, if you do want to let me know if you're searching anywhere specifically, I can let you know if there's anything to be found as well.
Just start going through any containers then, because
Like
this was like a
dressers and stuff
surface
like that.
scan. So now we're gonna be
Yeah.
looking in drawers and of the dresser and the
Mhm.
nightstand, etc.
Sure.
The desk, if there is one.
There's not. But, I mean, you find a Bible.
Riffling, whatever. Going through all
Wiffle
the
bowling. Yeah.
all the various nooks and crannies.
Sure. So you're going through drawers and such. Anyone else doing anything?
I'd probably do the same.
Okay. Do you want to make a spot hidden? Since you have not done so at this point. Or do you have a different skill you'd like to use that you think would be more specific to the type of thing you're looking for?
I'm actually going to try to find some occult, anything that shines out in that way.
Sounds good. go ahead and roll that for me.
59. Nope, 45.
So you have two options. You can spend luck if you want to spend that much. Your other option, which I didn't really introduce as much last session because it was more of like getting into the system, you can push the roll. Pushing the roll means you roll again.
Mm-hmm.
If you succeed, you succeed. If you fail, something extra will happen that's not necessarily helpful. And in this case, I will say the old lady notices that something's going on upstairs and will probably come to investigate. So up to you.
Alright, I will push.
With pushing the roll, I'll always let you know what the consequence is so you can make the decision.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. So you can decide if it's worth it or not for
Way
you.
nice.
But yeah, go ahead.
34, that is.
There you go. So yeah, you're looking around. Q is kind of like rifling through drawers. At first you're a little bit distracted by it because you're worried maybe a little knitting lady downstairs will notice him. But then you think about it. If you had something to hide, which you may or may not be familiar with yourself, in a hotel room, where might you put it? And you look at that perfectly made bed and you think, under the mattress. That's where I'm gonna go. And you lift up the mattress and something shiny catches your eye. And it looks like, because I do have some stuff that I pre-checked from last time. There you go. This little guy.
Oh,
So it's about
Okay.
6 inches square. It's made of gold.
more gold.
Speaking my language.
It looks like a mask. It's like a stylized sort of face going on it. It's, as you can see, kind of blocky, geometrical looking thing. No eye holes. And it's kind of polished almost to a mirror-like sheen on the inside. If you would like, you can make an archaeology roll to see if you recognize anything about it. Or if you have a different skill you prefer, I'm okay with that too.
That works.
Okay.
Archaeology. 94.
Not so much this time.
This is not my session, apparently.
So on a surface level, like, you're not quite identifying like specific time period or location that this could be from. It obviously looks South American in origin. It doesn't look like a foreign artifact. It's definitely much more like polished, very well kept compared to the artifacts that Larkin showed you at the restaurant, at the bar. But design is roughly similar, so you know at least culturally same area.
And you said this is mask sized? Like
Yeah,
6?
it's about 6 inches square, no eye holes, polished to a mirror-like sheen on the inside.
Well, I'm going to have fun with that.
Everyone knows that anything mirror-like in a horror game will never cause any problems.
Especially if you just randomly put it on.
Yeah.
How could that be
Stare
bad?
into it for any length of time. Like, yeah, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It's just a golden artifact. It's there for no reason. That's how this game works.
Yeah.
So it's totally fine. All right. But again, looking around the room, like really digging through everything, there's nothing else in here. He brought nothing with him, or if he did not keep it in this room. So like I said, no changes of clothing, no suitcase, no signs of room service or bottles of anything brought from anywhere else. Just super clean, looks unused basically.
Just kind of like, check it out. I found a thing.
More gold!
I'm going to have to study this a little bit.
Oh, hey, it's a mask. Probably not a smart move there.
And the J will be sound effects.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
From across the hall, you hear the deep snoring of one heavily under the influence of narcotics. But yeah, so I'll get back to y'all in a second. Sister Mary Benedict,
Yes, ma'am.
you were outside of the police station where you were told to go if you wanted to participate in last rites for Mendoza's body. And like I said, what you're seeing is kind of a bit of chaos, people kind of freaking out, a body of a priest, an open door of the precinct, and like police officers starting to try to like push the crowd.
Wait, there's a body of a priest?
The body of the priest is like just lying in the street.
Oh, good.
He looks partially desiccated. Like maybe he's been there for a long time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is there any small children about?
It's late enough at night that there aren't many children now.
Is there any like buddy that I look like I could be like, hey, go to the hotel and get my homies?
You can take a look around. What I'll say is go ahead and make a credit rating roll.
Oh,
You wanna
credit rating roll.
How trustworthy and rich that you seem to someone who wants to do a job for you.
I know how to do that. Okay, so I want to get under 55.
Yep.
And I got 93.
Yeah. So
Shit.
everyone is so freaked out.
Okay.
They're not really paying attention to you
Okay.
at this point. You're trying to get their attention, and I mean, obviously there's a little bit of a language barrier, but
Right.
mostly like people are so fixated on what the hell is happening here.
Right.
So yeah, hard to get anyone's attention right now.
Well, let's just run in there and see what's going on then.
All right, so you are going to kind of push through the crowd towards the open door. Like I said, there are police out there kind of trying to move everyone back. How would you like to handle that situation?
Well, I feel like I would just be like a pushy nun and be like, there's a dead priest, like I need to go see what's going on.
All right, persuade, please.
Persuade. No.
Yeah.
I was also unsuccessful with that.
Yeah, they're setting up a barricade at this point. They're trying to get people away from the scene. Again, they're saying a lot of things to you in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing you recognize is no.
Right.
But the rest of it, not super familiar, but you can tell from the tone, they're trying to get a handle on whatever the hell just happened. And they're just trying to get everyone out of this area.
Well, I'm going to tell them they're all going to die. And then I'm going to go back to the hotel
Wow.
and get these guys.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
hardcore nunnery.
they're going to, like, that's kind of how she is. Like,
To be fair, what you're saying, not
Listen
that
here.
different from what
You're
the
going to die.
witnesses are probably saying in that area as
Fair.
well. Because this was a spooky thing that
Right.
has evidently occurred here. So you're heading back to your hotel.
well, did I know where these guys were?
You
were
knew
my
that
punch
those
guy
two
buddies
were
went?
going to see Larkin and that Isaac was going back to your hotel.
I'm going to go to where they were.
where the muscle is.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
Smart choice.
head over to the Hotel España. When you get there, you see a little old lady wrapped in a shawl, head drooped down, snoring softly with knitting needles in her lap.
I don't have time to deal with her. I'm just going to... I mean, it's not a big place, right?
Nope, there's 2 floors. So if you walk past her, you could look down the hall to see
Yeah.
the bottom floor rooms, and then there's stairs going up.
Yeah, I'm going to go upstairs.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't see anything downstairs, you go upstairs. There's a door, or there's a chair in front of one of the doors halfway down the hall, and an open door across from it. And you hear a little bit of noise.
I'm going to,
coming
like,
from
pick
there.
my skirt up and do the little, like, nun scurry. with my little, like,
probably
hat,
in the
like,
hallway.
kind of flying behind
Oh, yeah, you're out in the hallway keeping watch.
Yeah,
So
I don't
you
feel
see
like...
Stephen.
I don't feel like you're hard to spot.
Steven.
I feel like... Yeah, I'll go find Steven.
Yeah.
Well, he blends in with his wool suit.
Yeah. Yeah. You see a glowing
Sweating
ginger
buckets through a wool suit.
trying to flex
Got his
through
fedora.
his wool
Or
suit.
not his driving.
Yeah, fanning himself with his driving cap.
I'm in a very... I'm not, like, panicky, but I'm like, we need to go. Like, that thing's not dead.
Handkerchief.
Like, real serious. We need to go.
What?
Where's everybody? That thing, Mendoza, he's not dead. Yeah.
Hey, Quentin.
I'm in the other room.
Yeah.
You got us a situation.
What? Got adventures with us.
What's that you say, Steven? You got something out there for us?
Mary saying that. No, that's Texas.
Nope, that's Texas.
That was great.
Mary saying that the Mendoza ain't dead.
The hell you say? I thought maybe that was the case. That's why we had him hogtied when we delivered him. Knew that clown was playing possum.
You did tell them to keep him tied up.
Did.
True.
Well, hell. I suppose we should go round him up then.
Who can we leave here? I don't want to leave a dude unwatched.
Oh, we don't want to leave.
Why are you guys watching?
Because my boss is interested in whatever dude's doing so that he can get his money. So that's my job, is just make sure that
The expedition
Larkin
happens.
is successful in this expedition.
I mean,
So if Larkin has to stay safe for that to happen, then...
All right, Sister Mary Benedict doesn't have time for whatever the discussion is here, so I'm gonna book it and like go to the church and find reinforcements or something. I'm like, demons, we have to kill. Go. I don't know what you guys are doing. This is where it's at.
Where are your local exorcists?
Yeah.
these are clearly.
Where do you
demons.
keep the local exorcists?
Just checking cabinets in the train.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need a case of holy water and a shotgun.
So we know Steven's
Right.
going to stay to make sure Mendoza doesn't show up here or that nothing happens to Larkin or Larkin doesn't try to leave. Basically, those are kind of your things. You're going to head to a church. They're very easy to spot in these sorts of cities. They
Right.
are large and have steeples and crosses and bells. So, sure, that's not an issue.
Fair.
What do you want to do? I'll let you chew. What does Q want to do?
Oh, she books it.
Yeah.
So
And, well, she makes it clear. Doesn't have time for dealing with this Larkin business. There's a weird Mendoza on the loose.
Right.
all right.
Yeah. So
And
she
by
turned-
book, I do mean scurry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Much
gonna
like
be
the
like-
Bible.
for a second, and I'm like, that little switch will close. Like, Steven can handle himself. He's gonna be okay. He's gonna stay here and keep an eye on Larkin. Like, that all kind of passes unspoken. So I'll just nod and then take off after Sister Mary.
Sure. Yeah, especially if that's some interesting news for sure.
Which also means that it's like I'm just gonna expend a few large strides to catch up to her because she's holding up her petticoats or whatever and doing that little like western little boot run like that.
Probably
The
like side
ladies
going down the
wore-
stairs.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas I have pants with pockets
Right.
and boots.
Yeah, still an issue to this day.
I was serious. I was just gonna say it's still an issue. Like, what the fuck?
Relatable. Alright. Now, what would Isaac like to do? The sister and Q have headed off into the night after the sister has proclaimed that Mendoza is not dead.
Well, Isaac's not really in the business of
Monster hunting?
monster hunting yet,
I love Isaac.
but
I need to do a thing in this room.
but Steven is staying.
Yep.
I will be staying with Steven.
There is a
Take
very
a-
unused room in here.
I have a
Doesn't
little.
lock so much anymore, but
I think I can do a little investigation on this mask and provide more value than getting murdered by Mendoza.
Yes, when he puts the mask on and turns into another horrible monster we have to deal with.
no.
Why would that even
Turns into the mask.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
They're gonna make you
It was not me. It was the one-armed man.
Was there possibly a church on the way back?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna pop in by one of those.
Yep. There's a large, very Catholic looking church and a very classical sort of cross-shaped style with the, long entryway where all the pews are and then the larger section in the back.
Okay.
And you know from experience that there are usually going to be doors altar side that lead into the back rooms where those actually in charge of the church would be likely to be found.
Right.
But otherwise, there is a church. There are a few people because, like I said, you came directly from the police station. A couple of people praying in here, lighting candles, that sort of thing. But no one clergy-wise obvious in this main area.
Alright. I will scurry to the back and bust a door down and see if I can grab somebody.
Yeah, the thing about church doors, they're not locked. So yeah, you open the door. You get to the area where you're like, okay, this is where they keep, Eucharist and all that fun stuff. There's another door behind that, and those are probably priests' quarters. You open that up, and there are very simple beds back there. And you startle some clergyman. How can I help you, my child, in Spanish? That sort of equivalent, right?
Right.
And then they look up and see you in your nun garb, because you're garbed out.
Right.
And they, like, you know, hurry to make sure they're appropriately covered, get themselves ready, and start talking to you about how they can help you, but it's in Spanish.
Right. I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm just going to basically be like, there's a demon, like, the priest is already dead, like, you need to get to the police station now, like, it's an emergency,
Okay.
and I'm going to run out.
Sure.
Like,
I'm going to have you go ahead and make your language roll, just to see how you simplify that. There's certain words that should cross over pretty easily. That's a 2.
That's a 2, right?
That's a
zeros and
super success.
Yeah.
If you haven't already checked the box for language own, make sure to do that.
I shall.
But I was thinking if you want
Your
if you're looking
knowledge
for a voice
of...
for Stephen.
Because you didn't use Latin, you just used your regular.
Yeah, I
language,
just
right?
my regular.
Yeah,
But
so
like,
it's going to be this one up here.
That would be kind of cool.
Okay, got it.
So, that checky box.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you got it on your
Yep.
paper. You know, because of your knowledge of Latin, which words are similar
Right.
in Latin-based languages. So you keep it simple to things like father, demon, right? Those sorts of words. Police, very similar in Spanish, right? And they sort of seem to get an idea of what you're putting together and look horrified.
Good.
And immediately start like...
Yeah, if I can convey, like, the seriousness and, like, if I need to convey, like, that I'm from the Vatican, like, I'm not a crazy
Because your roll is
person.
so good, you don't need to get into that point of going into your credit rating stuff.
Oh, good.
Like your Vatican
Excellent.
stuff. But yes, they see your garb, they hear some of the words you're using, and they start moving.
Okay, good.
And you run out.
Yeah.
Apparently, Key's following behind you. All right, Isaac, what would you like to do? It's been a few minutes.
Once you failed a roll, can you spend time and try again?
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, if you're not in a hurry and you can take time to do something, you can definitely make more checks. It's just like with library use, where Jessica's character made 3 different attempts. They were just like an hour apart, basically, to show extra time being put into it. That's fine to do. But yeah. So you're going to spend some extra time trying to archaeology this thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Before I invoke some of my other talents or skills.
Sure.
That way I'm not going in blind.
Sure.
Nope. 84.
Okay. But I will assume that you're really looking this thing over, right? While you're doing this. Interesting. All right. I need you to make a POW roll for me.
How?
That's up towards the top of your sheet. That's your.
Oh,
Pow.
power.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pow, pow, pow. Pew, pew.
I know you're a magic key type, so I think yours is decent.
that is a first number down.
Okay, so a
Strong.
hard success.
Hard success.
Yeah. Okay. Successful. Sure. Okay. I'm gonna have you roll 2d8. Don't add them together, just let me know what the 2 numbers are. And if they're the same, re-roll one of them.
3 and a 5.
Beautiful. You're looking at this mask, like really turning it over, trying to figure out like why it looks familiar to you, because you know you should be able to place this. And you flip it over to the reflective side and you're looking into it and you can feel yourself just sort of closing your eyes.
I want like super creepy music like building up right now.
You want to put on some creepy music?
Yeah, do it.
Creepy music.
I don't know. Let's see.
I don't know what that was.
It's really creepy.
I know.
You open your eyes and you are on a train. You are looking out of the window and you see these sweeping plains. It's kind of like a sandy, dusty soil with some tufts of grasses, some scraggly looking trees. It's almost oppressively hot. And you smell smoke and you hear a scream and you close your eyes.
What kind of scream?
Like a lady scream. I'm not going to do it because it'll be very loud on the microphone. And then when you open them again, You're running through a series of tunnels, trying to find your way through. You're going left and following the wall and making all of these turns, and you can hear sounds like creatures chasing after you, and you feel yourself panicking, like trying to find your way through. And then you open your eyes again, and you're back in the room. But I do need you to make a sanity roll at this point.
Oh yes, 18.
Okay. So you're still going to take some sanity loss, but it won't be as bad as it would otherwise. So go ahead and roll a d6 for me. Let me know what you get.
5.
Okay. So you are... You will take 3 sanity loss.
All right.
I will keep that in mind for now. I have a feeling your character's going to be involved in a lot of the sanity related stuff for this party. So just since we're starting to get into it, if you lose a certain amount of sanity all at once, so if you had lost 5 points or more, you have a temporary bout of insanity. You don't get to control that, it just happens because you lost too much sanity at one time. The other thing that will happen though is if over the course of a day in game time, you lose 20% of your sanity, then things will also happen because of that, even though it's a little bit more spread out. But at this point, only 3, your score is pretty high, you're in good shape. But just something that I keep track of because sanity is a thing in Cthulhu. It's kind of one of the primary components of how this game works. But you did not roll an extreme success, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, so yes, definitely, without even setting up any of your normal rituals, you are seeing things related to this object, and at least the first one with like the train and the landscape and everything, not local. You're not seeing something from this area. But it did look, I mean, based on the train and looking around it, modern. So not historical.
Okay.
I mean, modern to your character, not to us. That would be weird. You're just like, what the fuck is this Amtrak bullshit? So, yeah. Meanwhile, leaving the church.
Yes.
Some blocks away. What are y'all up to now? You
Looking
two.
back to the...
So you went in and you talked a lot of broken Spanish
Yep.
at the
She spoke simplified English.
nonplussed
Yeah.
denizens of the local chapel or whatever, and then left. And they're like, okay.
No, they were like...
Yeah, they were
They were on board, I
mobilizing.
think, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They were like dong, ding,
Yeah.
dong. They're like
Little
ringing the
priests
bell, or
scurrying out of
whatever.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Because I feel like that's what they do. They ring the bell whenever
Right.
something happens. Right?
Sure.
And then you rolled, and
Yeah.
I'm like, she seems to like know what she's doing, so I'm gonna back her play.
I know.
So that's really what I'm doing.
You're following
now.
around at this point.
Basically,
Okay.
yeah, until something else that needs doing jumps out at me.
Well, so we're I feel like, because I left a little bit ahead of him, so I kind of run in and I'm out, and we're kind of together.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to him and tell him, like, the police wouldn't let me in. You know, we need to figure out a way to get in there because this thing's going to kill everybody. Like, it
The
already
police
has.
wouldn't let you into the hospital?
No, it was at the police station, wasn't
Mhm.
it?
Was
They were
it the
doing the
police
autopsy at
station?
the
Yeah,
station.
they wouldn't let me in to see the demon or the Mendoza or the whatever he is.
Well, if it's still there, then that's where we should start. But I suspect it's escaped into the night. We're going to have to track it down.
Oh, good.
Alright, so heading to the police station then?
Back to the police station.
Okay. So the crowd is dispersed somewhat, mostly because there seem to be police creating a bit of a barricade along that street, as narrow as it is, to keep people back from the area. From what you can see, it looks like the body has been moved. So no signs of where that priest was laying previously. But there are a number of police milling about the area, and you do see that door still. It is open and there seems to be activity inside, probably due to the investigation.
Okay.
So if you wanted to get to it, there are, like I said, police hanging out, kind of keeping people from going down the street. And then the doors beyond that.
Well, and you want to go try and talk to him again?
Mm-hmm.
We'll try and talk to them again.
All right. So what's your strategy? Since neither of you speak Spanish.
Oh, fuck.
And no one brought Jackson with them.
Where did he go?
He just got sent back to the hotel basically to meet you guys in the morning.
Shit, he's all sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, he would have come in handy as a
I mean, you can get him
interpreter.
if you want to.
We'll just lose more time. We should
Sure, it's
see if
getting late.
we can make ourselves understood to these police first. So, I think it's just gonna be see if they talk American.
They speak American?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can make another language own roll to see how you do.
Yeah. See how we do here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What was a success? Regular success?
Yes.
Okay. So you're able to communicate that you are there about the body. You're there about the priest. Obviously, you're in nunly garb.
Right.
And this time, although you still understand the word no, what you get from them based on the word is what they're saying is there's no corpse.
What happened? Where'd the body go? Like, I'll ask him that.
Okay. So, so like that means like corpse. It sounds similar.
Yeah, you pick up on anything that has like a Latin root, I think. With nunneriness.
Yeah, it seems like it.
And so you're like, where did he go? And
Are they saying the priest's body is gone? Just kidding.
no, because you're talking. You said you made it clear you're talking about like Mendoza or whatever,
Right.
And the priest.
Right.
And they say no corpse, and you say like, what do you mean? Like the priest is gone? And they say no, priest is inside, but no other corpse.
So Mendoza's gone.
Right.
I'm gonna give Q a look.
Okay.
Like, great. Like,
But I
so
don't
we gotta go.
know
Like, you're
what
right.
they said.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you'll fill me
Well,
in.
was I speaking broken English or Spanish?
You were speaking English, but very simplified, and they were speaking super simplified Spanish, enough for you to pick up on a few words.
So I'll tell him. Like the priest's body's here, but Mendoza's gone.
I knew it. That son of a bitch. He's escaped into the night. We're gonna have to track him down. Can you ask him where his last known whereabouts are?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and
Word.
donde está crazy trash compactor guy. La biblioteca.
Right, you probably know enough to at least say where.
I've
and
seen
stuff
Encino
that.
Man.
Yeah. Your Sister Mary Benedict has gone to the future,
Yeah.
watched some Brendan Fraser movies, and come back and knows how to talk about cheese and bathrooms
Yep.
and libraries.
Important things.
And so he kind of like just gestures into the night, and then this other police officer comes over and like starts barking at him, making it clear just from body language that they shouldn't be talking to you.
Okay, that's weird and shady. Is there like in this game? Is it perception or something where you get it like does he like know something? And he's trying to cover something up, or is he just trying to be like
That'd be psychology.
I would like to roll psychology.
You may do
Me
so.
too.
I got exactly the thing.
So it's a success.
Yeah, success.
No? Alright.
No man.
He's just standing behind you like they're saying weird shit. I don't know. Like he's like Wendigo. Like or whatever he knows about. Yeah, Vampiro. El Fato. In the mouth though.
Sounds delicious.
But no, you're over there, you're kind of watching the police interact with each other. And it seems less like they know something else and more that they really don't know what's happening and they're trying not to let this get out of hand.
Right. Okay, that's cool.
They seem terrified as well.
Right. Did he actually give us kind of a direction of which way the guy went?
Like down the street, like just away, basically.
So I'm like, well, I think it sounds like he took off this way. I think these guys were just trying to.
Oh, they did give us a clue.
Yeah.
A direction.
A nugget.
Oh, so he didn't just vaguely
he
gesture
wasn't
to
like,
the night. Like, he went
no,
away.
like down the street.
And went,
Away from the
took off.
direction that you are in.
Okay. Let's see if we can find any clues.
Do you have a tracking skill or are you using spot hidden? Talk to me about your...
I have track.
Okay.
Can I use spot hidden as well?
Yeah.
All right. So let's spend some luck.
Ooh. You can push or spin. That's up to
I'll
you.
push. I'm gonna push it. What's my consequences?
If you start really looking around, the police are going to get suspicious of you.
Oh, I don't give a fuck about no police. I don't recognize your authority.
Tiny brown people.
Am I being detained? I'm like, no, not. Oh, yeah, that guy.
You might be.
Are you a
actually.
sovereign citizen?
I'm a sovereign citizen. I don't recognize your banana republic. Get your damn hands off me. All right. Oh.
Wait,
That's
what
a
is
crit
that?
fail. That's 100.
Oh.
You can check
It's like
your
rolling
skill
a one.
because a crit fail
Is
is still a levelable offense.
Oh no.
And it's a crit.
So it's
on
100, it's
push
not
roll?
0?
Is that
Yeah.
like a-
Yeah, it's double bad.
Oh,
Double
no.
bad.
So
I'm gonna take a step back.
yeah, because what you see is he really
Yo, I
starts
don't
getting
know this
down
guy.
in it. Like he's squatting. It's almost like he's gone into wilderness mode. He's like picking up dirt and like tasting it and like looking around. He's got his little flashlight out or something. I don't know if you have one. I have no idea. Maybe just subconsciously because you're in tracking mode, you've pulled out your Bowie knife.
Okay.
So you have this giant blade out and you're kind of picking at the ground with it, like looking for stuff. And the police see that and they walk up and they just like nightclub you basically.
Whoa.
You just pulled out a giant knife and started looking around a crime scene.
I thought I was on the outside of the crime scene.
Well,
But
not
no,
with a crit fail.
I was close enough and
Yeah.
maybe I wandered into
Yeah,
it.
you went into tracking
following the
mode. You were all
trail.
like do 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 do
that
do
makes
do
sense.
do 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 do.
Yeah,
What's
checks
this
out.
do do do? Like
Oh,
you found a little
shit.
scrap of cloth and you're like using your knife to pick it up and they're like fuck that, let move. So I'm gonna go ahead and
Get the old Hollywood knockout.
Yeah.
so
Or
you
do
take
I-
1 point of damage
Or do I wake up and have to learn
to
how
your
to walk
hups.
again?
No,
Like
it's
in
not
real life.
significant. It ends up with your size versus theirs and things like more of a swat than anything, but you do take a point of damage.
Can I like jump in and be like, no, he's fucking crazy white man. He's trying to. We're trying to track this guy. He's a killer. Like this guy's
Persuade.
good. Like
You
yeah.
may persuade
I'll
with
do
your
that.
body language.
Persuade
calm the
with your body
situation.
language.
What is it with 92s today? So that didn't work.
Yeah. You start freaking out and no, handing them.
They bonk you too.
I know, right?
No, and they just kind of like basically almost manhand push you both out of this area of the street.
Oh,
like, to get
okay.
up.
He's
So
not like
it's not as-
unconscious or anything.
No.
Okay.
He's got. You're gonna feel it mostly in the morning.
A
It's a
goose
little
egg.
sore. Yeah.
Right.
It's swollen up a little bit.
Oh, did it hit you?
Yeah.
Did they like take his knife or anything?
No.
Okay.
They
Okay.
bonked him and
That
like,
would have
pushed you
gone
guys out of
horribly.
Yeah, I don't think that would have gone.
Oh no.
Well, I wasn't sure like how wonked on the head you got. So okay, so I can like yeah, no, I'll just
Knock it off.
kind of just push him out of the way or down the street.
Yeah,
or
they're
whatever.
like my Spanish teachers in high school. Para fuera. Like, just-
Take my knife. Oh no.
yeah.
That shit
So-
got real.
So yeah, they basically over their life. They kick you out of that area.
right.
You're not going to be able to go back in there without trouble at
That's
this point.
right. That's
Yeah.
fine. Can we go down the street like the direction?
You could go around the block to the other side, but
Okay.
you're not going to be able to go past the police down the street.
How woozy is my boy?
I'm
You
good.
took a point
So
of
we can
damage.
go?
He's all right.
All right. Well, you want to go
Take the
skirt
long way?
the law?
Yeah. See if
Yeah.
we can pick up the trail
Yeah.
on the other side of the alley.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're going to track again, what I'll say is you have a penalty die now because you're not able to track it from the source. You're trying to pick it up farther along, hoping that you're in the right place at this point.
And can I spot hidden again too?
Yes, but you also have a penalty die.
What does that mean?
So you roll your 10s placed twice and take the worst one.
Okay.
So it's kind of like disadvantage in D&D.
Damn, I rolled a 22.
Yeah, roll those 10s again.
Wait.
Yeah, just that one.
Okay.
You're gonna keep your 2.
I got a fucking 92 again! Jesus! I'm like, where could he be?
You're just mostly trying to like slap Q's every time he goes to like pull his knife back out again. You're like, stop it.
No!
Are you rolling again? Are you picking different dice?
I had to find another
Oh,
tens
for
place
your
for my
penalty?
penalty die.
Okay, gotcha. Because you can't just reroll. Got it.
I know, I was like, I just
Hey,
re-rolled,
you-
was I not supposed to do
you can do it
I
anyway.
can roll the same die twice, like some kind of peasant. But why
But you
would I
have
do
plenty
that?
of dice. It's
Yeah.
fine.
All right.
The worser one.
75. So, I'm going to fail my track roll by 5 points.
Dang.
So you're gonna luck this time?
But I'm going to luck this time.
Okay. So spend 5.
Yeah. Done.
Alright. You do see some prints that are suspect. And the reason they strike you as suspicious is because not only are they very moving, like, shod feet, right? They are shoes or boots of some kind. But ahead of those quickly moving tracks, you see signs of hands being used as well.
Oh.
Which is not a normal human track to find. Someone was scrabbling on all fours down this path.
I've seen this kind of thing before.
So you do have a direction as far as where it was heading through town. But at this point in the night, you guys had to go around, not attract police attention, look for more tracks. It is getting to the point in the evening where you're really very early in the morning the next day. So you're getting to the point where, at least you know, because I don't know that you and Steven have shared, the two of you know that trucks are going to be showing up at 8 to load up all of your stuff and take you on this expedition to the location of the pyramid, according to Larkin. And you are getting within a single-digit number of hours of that time at this point.
It's the middle of the night.
Yep.
All right.
In the middle of the night.
I go walking in my...
Well,
And just vampires and eat my fat in school.
I mean, our options are run around all night,
Yeah.
try to find this guy,
Mm-hmm.
just the two of us.
Yep.
Or regroup, know he's out there so we can be on our guard.
Yep.
And try to get some rest so we're not all, wrecked when we leave in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look wistfully at the trail, seriously consider following it, and then propose to Sister Mary, I don't think tracking them down is going to do any good at this juncture. We should regroup, be aware of our enemy abroad, and prepare for the morning.
Well,
And she gives me the old Dolores Umbridge. Him. Like, okay.
So are you regrouping at Hotel España, where
Yeah.
Larkin's room is? Okay.
That's where we left both of the rest of our party and Larkin.
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of camping out in Mendoza's room at this point. Well, the group is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just deployed like an entire church worth of
Yeah.
priests.
As
and
you
clergymen
are all
and
Yeah.
walking back
abandoned them.
Yep.
to the to the hotel, you see a group of like priests and probably like local monks, like little Franciscan monks and stuff, like in their little brown robes,
no.
like hurrying their way down the street to the police station.
I'm gonna go hook up with them.
Okay.
And because I want to let them
Things
know.
got sexy real quick.
Nice robes.
No, I want to try and tell them that like the priest, like I want to try and tell them what I know, as far as like the Santiago journals that I have, and that like there's a body of the priest,
Sure.
and that there seems to be this demon who sucks fat. Because I'll say demon, not vampire.
Right.
I'll say
Yeah.
like demon.
Do you want to use your language own, again, to try to simplify your language? Or since you're talking with priests, do you want to use your language Latin?
Latin.
So you may roll your Latin then.
Ooh.
That is a mild success.
Regular one?
No.
Or is it under the...
It's
first
under the
little-
top number.
It's a spicy.
So that's
success.
hard success.
A hard success.
Yeah, it's very spicy.
What's the really good one?
Extreme.
Oh no, it's not that. It's
Yeah.
the
We could maybe simplify things by instead of doing hard and extreme,
Mm-hmm.
we could remember it as like, oh, that's a gentleman's success, and the bottom one is a queen's success.
a queen success. Yes,
Because
no.
that matches up with
That's true.
Yeah.
the various
Yeah.
crit rolls in D&D, so maybe you might make that connection
I like how you try and help my
a
dumb
little
brain.
easier. No, I was trying to think of something for me, so
No,
I
no.
thought maybe, you know.
It does. No, it does. That makes more sense because it is. I always forget which one it is. But yeah, it's the gentleman's success.
Sure. All right. So switching to Latin, you definitely have an easier time talking to other clergy folk because they are also familiar with Latin. So it's much easier to find common language,
Right.
especially when talking about such occult and religious matters
Right.
as demons and priests and whatnot.
Right.
So yes, you are able to communicate with them that the priest was attacked by a demon of some kind. Is that
Yeah.
what you're trying to say? And that his body is at the station.
Right, and that they'll see that like because my theory is that or her theory is that like the demon like, you know, drains the fat and like restores himself because that's why he was able to like leave.
That
And I
is
want
a
to say like
good
we thought he
theory.
was dead and you know blah
Yeah.
blah blah and
Yeah.
like that's what I want to convey to them. So when they see his body, there'll be a little more weight behind what I'm saying.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And he takes what you're saying very seriously, particularly because you are a nun. If you were a rando or a foreigner, he would probably assume that you were drunk.
Right.
And
Fair.
and so like he nods gravely and communicates to you that they'll be very careful to give last rites to get rid of any demonic influence still on the body, and that they'll be keeping an eye out for their community to make sure that they're not seeing this sort of thing continue to happen.
Can I also roll psychology on his
Sure.
reaction?
Yeah.
Success.
All right. You told them a little
Regular.
bit about how the priest was drained was the thing?
Yeah.
Okay. When you say those sorts of things, there is kind of, although a reluctant one, sort of a recognition of like, this is folklore that exists
Right.
in this area.
Right.
This isn't like alien, like trying to explain zombies to someone who's never heard of them before, right? They're like, I don't really believe that's a thing, but I've heard this before,
Right,
sort
okay.
of thing. But it does seem like he's taking you very seriously.
I don't get any like nefarious vibes. Like
No,
they're
not at all.
actually real.
They're priests. Why would there be anything nefarious? Why are you looking at me like that?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So with my roll, I'm satisfied.
All right.
And I shall go back to, I guess back to,
Yeah, the hotel.
yeah.
All
Well,
right.
I'll go back, just let Steven know.
Going back to the hotel, motel,
The no-tell motel.
Holiday Inn.
I didn't even hear Jesse leave.
He does it.
He's quiet.
He's so quiet. He rolled like a stealth.
Yeah, he did. All right. So you go back to the Hotel España. You're able to give updates to everyone. If you're sharing information, you can share that truck should be arriving for the expedition in the morning. But otherwise, the only person of your expedition who's not here is Jesse, aka Jackson Elias, who's still at your regular hotel.
Got it. Having a priest named Santiago from antiquity
Yeah.
and an NPC named Jesse,
I didn't.
it's like totally
Yeah,
name
not
them, to be
confusing.
fair.
Oh no, I'm not casting aspersions. I'm just pointing out
Yeah.
that shit's fucking confusing.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
For realsies.
Thank you, barbarians, for listening to our playthrough of Masks of Nyarlathotep. Check the links in the doobly-doo for where to find us and let us know about what you're thinking of the story. And we will talk at you next time. Thanks AC.
Sorry, that's totally my fault. I threw it. She looked so cute. She was like, "Hey," I was like, "Okay."
And let's juxtapose that happy squeaky noise with this spooky music. That's where the outro will go.
Oh, I was like, I don't think
Thank you, barbarians, for listening to our latest episode of Masks of Nyarlathotep in Call of Cthulhu. We hope that you spent your rage and your sanity wisely. Our intro and outro feature music by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. We use Waltz, Unseen Horrors, and The Dread. We also use game sounds and ambiance by Sirenscape. You can check them out at Sirenscape.com because epic games need epic sounds. And links to all of those are in the description. Thank you again, and we hope to see you next time.